Hi everyone, this is Mr. Bai Kiefler. I teach at Victoria School of the Arts in Edmonton, Alberta, and today we're talking more about casting choices, specifically to do with headshots. So, if you've watched a previous video in this series, we just talked about how do you decide who you want to cast in specific roles as a director. Well, now that you have your character descriptions, and if you don't, I would encourage you to go back and complete that first. But you have the idea of the character descriptions that you want for those characters. Now you're going to be looking at a bunch of resumes and audition headshots for people who want to be in the role. You've put out your casting call, and now people are sending that in. And we're just going to talk about how you look at headshots specifically as a way to determine who you want to bring into audition. So we have the same goals as last time. So again, identifying skills brought into the rehearsal by various members, identifying steps and strategies in casting a production, and then of course outlining the important factors in the relationship between the individual actor in the cast and how they relate to other people. Of course, real world connections include casting and auditions, looking for archetypal elements, hiring and collaboration. So how do you actually hire people? How does the media use people's looks to sort of make you think about products and buy stories? And then, of course, relationships between people. I just want to point out a huge part of this when it comes to, when it comes to casting is this idea of archetypes. You don't cast people based on stereotypes. That's unprofessional and, quite frankly, inappropriate. So we're going to talk about how what we see in photos help us understand an archetype, and understanding that that actor in that specific headshot probably can pull off a number of other archetypes, but this is the actor choosing to send a certain photo of themselves to you. So you have to do your best to respectfully basically read that headshot. So we're going to cast the Three Little Pigs. That's the show that I'm thinking about. And I need 5 characters. I need the pig mother. I need the pig that builds a house out of straw. So the straw pig, the sticks pig, and the bricks pig. And then, of course, the big bad wolf. And so these are my character descriptions for those characters. The pig mother, loving, industrious, excellent teacher, because she has to teach her kids to go into the world and build their own houses. The straw pig. In my version of the story, I've decided to sort of make this a commentary on how you participate in the world, and how you sort of how you contribute to the world. And so the straw pig is actually going to be a bit self-absorbed, lazy, and shallow. So the fact that they're building their house out of the straw is a physical manifestation of their own personality. The sticks pig, same sort of thing. In theory, wood is a good material, but they're going to spend so much time thinking about their house that by the time that they've put it together or they start working on it, the wolf has already got there and is easily blown over. And then, of course, the bricks pig builds the excellent house that everybody goes and takes shelter in. And part of that is that they're a disciplined pig. They're quiet, they're a good listener, they're hardworking, and they're also willing to change and take the other ideas. So I actually have my bricks pig is going to take ideas from the sticks pig in terms of their understanding of how things work, and maybe they'll even learn a lesson from the straw pig, but I've yet to determine what that lesson is. And then, of course, the big bad wolf, a hugely important and well-known role. This is a representation of how the world can be sometimes. Is that you have to be how do you put this? Prepare for the worst and hope for the best, right? And so this pig sort of hopes for the best. This pig prepares for the worst. But there's sort of a combination of both of those things that the bricks pig finds in the end and creates their house. So anyway, so here's some pictures I found to help demonstrate each of these characters. So the pig mother, loving, industrious, and an excellent teacher. This is a picture I found. Presumably this is an actor who would have submitted, but I would look at this and go, oh yeah, I could see her being a motherly figure. There's some archetypal elements. She has has very kind eyes, a wonderful smile. There's something about her that reads like a teacher and very motherly, sort of in how she presents herself. I could also see her being a kind character. Perhaps I'd also consider her for the bricks pig. But yeah, for now, that's just the mother character in my mind. So things like her eyes, her smile, and sort of just her general appearance is very like teacher-esque. She's well put together, clean, that kind of thing. For the straw pig, so this is mother, for the straw pig, I picked this gentleman. Let's use that. This headshot comes across as like he's quite charming. I could see him for the big bad wolf, but he doesn't seem like ruthless enough. He just seems really he has a very nice look about him. The white background gives him quite a professional look. His hair's coiffed. So again, part of what I considered when I found these headshots is how they work relative to each other. So where the mother perhaps has more of a calming or a relaxed look to her, this guy looks like he is like he knows he's cool. He knows that he looks good. And so for my straw pig, this is who I've picked. So this is our straw pig. Here is our our sticks pig. So you'll notice that she has this gray background, which unlike the straw pig, it does give her a very professional feel. Like this, she's wearing a blazer in this. Her hair is nice and clean, but it's straight, sort of that archetype of that straight edge character. Whereas you look at the mother, her hair's curly and fun, and so to me that reads like a character who is, really enjoyable to be around. A mother character, those ringlets they look kind of natural. So it's that idea of like she doesn't have to work, but this person works to put themselves together. So let's use brown. This is our stick pig, and maybe even a stick in the mud. There's another metaphor for you. And then finally we get to our bricks pig. So like I said, this is the pig that to my mind is a good listener. They work hard, they're quiet, and they're willing to change. And there's also a bit of a metaphor working here. This is the youngest looking character that I found. And so the youthfulness of their face, they had this colorful background, right? With the colorful shirt, it all sort of blends together. So it just gives me that feel that this character has all those traits that I need. They're not innocent, like shy or foolish. They just seem like they're sturdy, but they're fun and they're enjoyable. And also, like I said, this character compared to the other two seems younger. And so there's a bit of a metaphor for me of like a younger generation being the change in the world, the ones that are actually going to improve things instead of just living in the status quo. And to me, matches most naturally with the mother in terms of the energy that they bring. So I really like that. So this is our bricks pig. And then finally, the perhaps one of the most important characters is the big bad wolf. So in terms of the way that this headshot presents itself, a very put together look, so sort of a charming character. The blazer, but without the shirt, it kind of, if to me, presented as this character is kind of like showing something that isn't actually true. The wolf tries to charm their way into the houses first, and when that doesn't go according to plan, this is the thing I zero in on, is these eyes, just boom. That, like, think of those eyes looking through a door, trying to be like, hey, let me in. And then, there's unbridled energy, or this reserved energy, I should say, that feels like it's popping out at me. Like she looks like she could devour a bunch of pigs in the best way. Again, things like her hair's tied up, but it's got this frizz, like this frenetic energy, like she's holding herself back from something. This is just like me talking through my process, friends. This is not any judgment on these people, but you look at this, and to me, I'm like, this screams, yes, you could play the big bad wolf. Perhaps I would also consider her for the sticks pig, because again, that business look, same as this character relative to some could play the bricks pig. Again, part of what we're going for, this guy could play the wolf. He's maybe the more charming version of the wolf, but the way that these characters all work together, I really like how this cast comes together. An extra bonus, and again, this is all sort of I'm creating this reality. You're going to have to find these characters, but to me, this is fantastic because it also is a multi ethnic cast. It's a diverse cast. There's women and men, and as far as in terms of how they present, there's quite a diversity. So it's in the current world that we live in, it's a fantastic thing to have. So a quick video and a simple task. So we had the example of the three little pigs, and now all I want you to do is you have created a character description for the characters that I've offered, and what I'd like you to do now is to go find your own headshots. These can be anybody, but the main point is for you to find a cast that looks like they work well together. So I know that Hansel and Gretel was an example. Can you find characters that seem to be siblings? And this doesn't mean they have to look exactly the same, but characters that could play siblings together really easily, especially relative to the rest of the cast. So again, please feel free to imagine anybody in the role. So you find these headshots, but when it comes to audition times, you're going to say, oh, this might be what I imagine for the Big Bad Wolf, but somebody else shows up and they're perfect for it as well. You don't have to just find the pictures online. If you have this idea of like, oh, this character sort of reminds me of my father, then put a picture of your father. In fact, you can have more than one picture representing who these characters are. You do not need to limit yourself. Of course, you can also look into things like magazines, start to look like into media. Those are great representations of what does this character want me to feel. A perfume ad might be a great place to look for a picture of the Big Bad Wolf, or a cologne ad for a picture of the Straw Pig. If you're sort of following the way that I'm casting my production, those characters that are a bit more superficial are putting things on the surface. Again, there's lots of ways that you can cast your show. And then again, I just want to reiterate one more time, don't cast based on headshots, but each headshot should be somebody you cast. So I'm going to get a lot of headshots for the Big Bad Wolf. This is what I've picked going into my auditions and waiting for those headshots to roll in. This is sort of my ideal, but I might get something that surprises me, like I said, and I have to wait to actually audition somebody. I don't just go, oh, that they look perfect for the role. Well, make sure that they actually are perfect for the role, that they're a fantastic actor and they're exactly what you need them to be. In any case, I'm going to leave it there, and happy hunting for those headshots. And I look forward to sharing the next task.